Here's some tips on adding and subtracting fractions. So I want to add 3/4 and 1/8, and I'll illustrate using pizzas. So here I've got 3/4 of a pizza, here I've got 1/8 of a pizza, and I want to add these two together. So let's look at the 3/4 of a pizza. It's divided into 1/4 slices. So I've got 1, 2, 3 1/4 slices. I need my pizza slices to be the same size if I'm going to add them together, and we can see that the 1/8 slice is not the same size as the 1/4 slice. So what I need to do is I need to cut my 3/4 piece of pizza into 1/8 slices. So we could do that if we cut each 1/4 slice into two 1/8 slices. Okay, and now I can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths. So what I've done is I've expressed 3/4 using the equivalent fraction 6/8. And now if I add my 1/8, I can see that in total I've got 7 1/8 slices of pizza. So that means 3/4 plus 1/8 is 7/8. And if I draw my slices over here, we can see that we've got 7 1/8 slices. One here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm doing here is I'm working with what are known as common denominators. So if I take my two fractions that I'm trying to add together, 3/4 and 1/8, what I need to do is I need to have those have the same denominator down here. So a common denominator for 4 and 8 is 8. So what I want to do is I want to have 8 be in the denominator of both of the fractions. So to get 8 in the denominator of this fraction, I need to multiply by a fraction that's equivalent to 1. And a fraction that's equivalent to 1 will have the same numerator and denominator. So what denominator, if I multiply 4 by that denominator, will give me 8? Well, 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So if I have 2 in the denominator, I must have 2 in the numerator as well. And now in the numerator, 3 times 2 comes to 6. So that's how to re-express a fraction with a common denominator. What I do is I multiply by a fraction that's equivalent to 1. What about the 1/8? Well, I already have 8 in the denominator, so I actually don't need to worry about that one. Okay, let's do a subtraction problem. So let's do 3/4 minus 1/8. So here's my 3/4 of a pizza. Again, let's mark off the slices, and then I want to subtract 1/8. Again, I need the same size slices to be able to do that, and so let's divide my 1/4 slices in the 3/4 of a pizza into 1/8 slices. And let's imagine that I'm going to eat this piece here. I'm taking it away. How much pizza am I left with if I take that 1/8 slice away? So let's write down what we're doing here. I'm re-expressing my 3/4 using eighths. I'm subtracting 1/8, and I'm ending Well, if I started with 6 slices and ate one of the slices, I must have 5 slices left. So 3/4 minus 1/8 comes to 5/8. And let's just mark up this diagram here so we can show this explicitly. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/8 slices left. Let's do another couple of examples just in this corner here. Let's do, how about 3/4 plus 2/3. So I need a common denominator for 4 and 3. Well, the common denominator for 4 and 3 is 12. So I have to multiply each of my fractions by a fraction equivalent to 1 so that I can re-express the fractions using the common denominator of 12. So what do I need to multiply 3/4 by to get 12 in the denominator? Well, 3 is going to work. And then what do I need to multiply 2/3 by to get 12 in the denominator? Well, if I have 4 over 4. So now multiply across the numerators and the denominators. So 3 times 3 comes to 9, 4 times 3 comes to 12. And then for the other fraction, multiply across the numerators, multiply across the denominators. 2 times 4 comes to 8, and 3 times 4 comes to 12. So 9 plus 8 comes to 17. So 17/12. And if I express that as a mixed fraction, I'll have 1 whole, so 12/12, plus 5/12 left over. And we typically just write that without the plus sign, 1 and 5/12. So that's some tips on working with adding and subtracting fractions.